we work with a massive amount of marketing agencies and some big ones. Digital Marketer works with us and some of their sister brands. And we learn the trends from a lot of these top marketing companies that work with us. So we start to see everybody's doing this. Now some of these guys are starting to do something different. Website isn't necessarily the same as what's going to work on Facebook or Instagram. So we really are.
Let's dive deeper into what you just said for a second, because you said that you have to shut down the service.
Yeah.
Every type of business could relate to that to some extent, in the sense that like you could be an e-com store and you could run out of inventory, and then people come to the store and sorry, we don't have anything for you. And It's a very scary place to be, because we all think we have one chance with a customer, right? If they come and your service isn't there, well, then I'm going to go to someone else who has that service.
Exactly.
If I'm going to come to your store and you don't have that product, I'm going to go to the other store that has a product, and you lost the customer probably for life, and hard to bring that person back. Right. So how do you overcome that? And what's your advice to the entrepreneurs listening who may find themselves in a situation like that?
You've hit it spot on. I mean, that's how I felt was, oh my God, these people can't sign up. They're just going to go somewhere else and never come back again. But, for me, being open on social media, I had a really good following on Facebook, and just being open and honest with people and saying, look, we have a service that's going to work for you. We are a little overwhelmed with everything going on. We are doing this, this, and this to catch up, and we'll be opening back up soon. So, a lot of people really stuck around and were patient with us and ended up signing up. I'm sure some people went to competitors or whatever, but I just felt like that open communication, really keeping people up to date with things progressing and how everything's going as planned. That was a really big deal for me, and keeping those people happy and eventually coming over to NLC.
And then I'm sure scaling as fast as you did in the past 3 years, a lot of things break when you scale that quickly. How do you handle that? Because I think everyone wants to scale, right? That's the biggest thing. I want to scale. I want to grow. But there comes a point where you could actually grow broke. You could actually grow inwards versus outwards. There's a lot of bad things that could happen. And I'm sure when you start a new service like what you had and you bring on people, it's sometimes there's growing pains involved that where your first and early clients may, as you're scaling, find themselves in a situation where things aren't getting done on time or things like that. How do you then, keep your current existing clients happy while being able to scale the way you're scaling?
Yeah, we had the same scenarios where we, unfortunately, we were so behind. We were trying to rush designs, which we were sacrificing quality and upsetting customers. And we went through all that, which, to me is perfectly normal. We eventually started to really put a lot of money in hiring and just kind of getting ahead and stacking up the team much more than we really needed to. But that gave us enough of that breathing room to finally get ahead and be able to keep bringing in new customers without shutting the packages down and things like that. So, we really didn't need to hire 150 new contractors over the last year or something, but it got us exactly where we needed to be to scale, so we haven't had any issues for over a year now with the scaling. Took us a while to finally get to that point, because the hiring and recruiting process overseas in different country, it's very tricky, and there's a lot of things and moving parts you have to look at. But yeah, I think just kind of getting us ahead by staffing more in our particular case really helped us out.
I'm fascinated by that, because I think the biggest problem I've seen is too many business people or too many businesses or too many people try to scale their business way too quickly, right? You run a business right now with over 250 employees. Talking about how you scaled like that, because like I said, I think people jump a little too fast when it comes, and a lot of bad hires, or I think there's an underestimated, or maybe the word I'm looking for is an undervalued need or approach to running a lean business for as long as you can, right? I think many people just try to scale, but I do find value in trying to stay as lean as possible for as long as you can. Talk me through a little bit about that.
We are, because we're a people-based service. I mean, that's our bread and butter. We have to have the right people on staff, but I think that It's been challenging working firstly as a remote business. We haven't had anybody in-house working together. So um, it was initially, we got off to a rocky start, but I think what helped us was trying to take our business and service and break it down into microscopic parts. So we found that breaking our business down into teams was much more valuable and beneficial and efficient than trying to just have one massive graphic design department and one massive video team. So we've kind of made microscopic pieces to those teams, and it's just been so much easier to run the business and service that way. So I think Amazon kind of had something similar with their pizza. That they wanted to talk about this pizza should be able to feed like this many people, so that's all that's going to be on their team or something like that. But we found that the teams was really a big deal for us. It just made our particular service thrive.
You run a remote business, right?
Yeah.
And what I find interesting is when COVID hit, everyone went remote.
Yeah.
You've been running a remote business for over 2 years before the pandemic even hit.
Yeah.
How big of an advantage of that? How big of an advantage was that for you when COVID hit?
It was huge because we had already been doing what everybody was trying to quickly transition to. So there was no interruption in the service. Everybody was working exactly how they've been working for the last few years. So it was great in that area. But we also got really busy. I think as companies started to transition into more remote work and remote operations, they were having to figure out what they're going to do with their current in-house people who are gone now. So we saw a big influx in customers during all this. But yeah, we didn't have to have any interruptions. It just every other day was exactly how it was before.
Let's talk about running a remote business, because I think there's a lot about it right now. A lot of the pros, we all know a lot of the pros, but there's definitely cons. But we know the pros, like global talent, people being able to work from home. We're seeing all that now. Post-pandemic. I don't know if you call it post-pandemic because I don't know if it's over, but
Yeah.
you know what I mean. But I'm curious to hear, like, ignore the pros because there's endless articles about the pros and people saying how happy they are. But what have been some of the biggest cons for you or the biggest struggles in running a remote business?
I think first and foremost is just not having that in-person interaction. I think everybody really wants that. And I know we have a lot of people in different parts of the world who have been on a lockdown for the last 2 years. They literally can't go anywhere outside of their cities or towns. One person from their family is allowed to go to the grocery store and get food. And it's really depressing. This is a long, long time that people have been stuck inside in some of these areas. So it really sucks. We'd love to have some in-person event at some point, but we have so many people from all over the place that it would be difficult. But it's challenging. We use Slack daily. It's our like lifeblood. I mean, we sent out almost 100,000 messages just in the last 5 days in Slack. So it is like all day long typing. And that really sucks too. My fingers and hands hurt like crazy every day. And, there's, like you said, tons of pros, but there's only a few things that I think are cons for us in particular, and that personal interaction being one of them. But, also just like team meetings, we have to get on video calls. We have to make sure everybody has good connections. Some people drop off, some people come in. I mean, it can make certain tasks very daunting and very drawn out that shouldn't have to be. So, there's not a ton of cons for us, but those are a couple of big ones.
What about culture, right? I think culture is huge. How do you maintain culture in a remote environment?
We've done stuff recently, like monthly newsletters that kind of feature employees or contractor spotlight, stuff like that. We talk about things going on in the company. We do weekly calls with different teams, kind of giving those kudos and pats on the back that people deserve. And we have regular contests. We had a NLC cooking show we put on, and everybody made their favorite dishes in their areas. We've done ad design contests. So there's a lot of different things that we do to just keep everybody together and feeling like they're part of that family.
Let's talk about the fun stuff, right? The creative side of things. Organic versus paid ads. Is there a difference to you in the type of creatives that get used? And if so, what are they?
I guess yes and no. I mean, I think we have come from an area a few years ago where, you try to just do as much design as you can in these ads to make them look really cool. And then everybody started doing that. Now we're kind of like at the flip side of that, where some of the simplest images or videos crush it now. So I think we've really started to kind of transition towards more organic, natural looking creatives. It's not so design heavy. They just look more user generated. So the UGC, user generated content, has been huge lately. We're doing so much stuff with UGC right now in terms of editing and cutting videos up for people and doing testimonial videos. A lot of it's not design heavy. It's just very story driven. It's very real and personal. And that's really seems to be doing well right now. So we've kind of been following those trends the same way.
And what about in terms of like thumb stopping, right? Like what's your best advice to produce thumb stopping creative?
That can be tough. I think just on the design side, using things that aren't commonly seen on news feeds and things like that, bright, bold, in your face, colors, elements, things like that. Also split testing different video thumbnails. I mean, you have the sky's the limit with that. So you can try any kind of stuff that could get somebody's attention, even if it doesn't have anything to do with the video. So we do a lot of video thumbnail variations for companies to split test, because it's such a great opportunity to just see what works there. So bright, colorful stuff, things that may not have anything to do with the video ad, but that are very interesting or kind of weird. I mean, that weird stuff seems to really work well. We've seen a lot of companies asking us to do like meme style intros to videos that have been working well. So just some stuff like that.
How do you stay on top of trends that's going on? Because when you see so much stuff coming through your business, right? So many different creatives, at some point, smart marketers sit there and say, everyone's going right, I should go left. When everyone zigs, I should zag. So how do you stay on top of that and kind of just be like, instead of, I know you're there to fulfill what the client wants, but does there come a time where you step in and sit there and say, everyone's doing that, what we recommend is doing something like this?
We don't get that involved, but what I can say is we work with a massive amount of marketing agencies, and some big ones. Digital Marketer works with us and some of their sister brands. And we learn the trends from a lot of these top marketing companies that work with us. So we start to see everybody's doing this. Now some of these guys are starting to do something different. Now all of a sudden it's becoming more and more popular. So we can typically follow these trends and see what's working well right now. In terms of design trends are very different from marketing trends. I mean, what works for grabbing attention on a website isn't necessarily the same as what's going to work on Facebook or Instagram. So we really are always open-minded and just kind of seeing what is coming into our pipeline, because typically that's been the best solution for most people that use us.